There we go. Podcast audio and YouTube and Facebook video. All right, no Facebook Live, just going to directly upload to the Faceboos. All right. Seems like a fair deal to me. Seems like a fair deal to you. Trigger and or warning. I think heads are familiar with that, right?
It's a chance to do good for us boys in the hood. Just call us NWA, Neighbors with Appetizers.
You could do that. All right. Morning Wine Cellar, November 5th, 2000 and or 18. Sex workers' rights. Let's get to it. This over here, this time it took me to salon.com. Don't typically fuck with salon.com. I did fuck with them in, 2012, 13, maybe a little bit of 2014. Don't really fuck with salon.com though, really. All right. And apparently they're doing a new ad thing where they're like, you can pay $5 a month and read ad free. I don't know, some shit like that. All right. So this was put up by Nicole Carlis on salon.com. And it's they start out just going straight into someone's story. It says, for Sasha, a 26-year-old woman of color, finding work in San Francisco has never been an easy endeavor. Last spring, when the United States Congress passed a two-bill package called Stop Enabling Sex Traffickers Act, SESTA, and the Victims to Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act, FOSTA, commonly SESTA FOSTA. The ability to do her job as a sex worker became more challenging because she no longer had the internet as a resource to find and screen clients. Now, some folks may not be familiar with that. Screening by yourself, but also sex workers could unionize online, essentially. Like SESTA FOSTA, not only made shit more dangerous, but it was a union busting bill. All right, a bipartisan union busting bill. So remember, when we go in tomorrow, November 6th, and we vote blue no matter who, you vote blue, you vote red, you're voting against sex workers either way. All right, there's a reason why Phoenix Calida, in 2016, she voted Jill Stein out here in Illinois because Jill Stein was swerfy leading up to it. In 2015, 14, 13, Jill Stein was swerfy, but Jill Stein listened to sex workers and changed her position to being pro decriminalizing sex work. So Jill Stein earned Phoenix Calida's vote. All right, I get it. The Democrats, all they have to do is not be Republicans to earn other niggas' votes. The shit continues on salon.com, and this piece by Nicole Carlis. The digital crackdowns include the closing of sites like Backpage, as well as Craigslist personal section. While the bills did not explicitly seek to target sex workers, yes, they fucking did. It's called lying. All right? Continuing with the article. The messaging was to combat sex trafficking. Prior to the bills being signed into law, many raised concerns regarding the backlash it would have on the sex work industry nationwide. All right, now Craigslist and Backpage, they were not the only sites to close due to SESTA FOSTA either. Another one called The Erotic Review, a sex work review site that displayed customer reviews of sex workers, is no longer available in the United States. Neither is one that was called Verify Him, a site that sex workers use to verify clients, right? So you have sex worker A and B. Sex worker A had a client that during service, during the session, just hauled off and punched her in her shit. Because he was just like, I get to do that, right? So now she can go to verify him and be like, this motherfucker will punch you in your shit. You might die. This is a dangerous one. He might kill a motherfucker. She can go in and put that down about him. So now sex worker B is, finding that client online and be like, all right, might render services to this client, but let me go to verify him, and can see what sex worker A put up and be like, oh, this motherfucker dangerous. Fuck this guy. All right. Now, the closures came a result to one provision in the bills that made an exception to Section 230 of the 1996 Communications Decency Act, which states, no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. End quote. This legal line has long protected internet companies and their platforms from being held responsible for what happens on their platform. All right? So that means and that now people look at shit like the Faceboos and like if people like say a cop wants to get funny style, surprise, surprise, right? Say a cop wants to get funny style and be like, hey, I didn't consent to being on video when I was busting that nigga's head wide open, and I'm gonna sue anybody that publishes that video. And say you have a motherfucker that has a Facebook page called, Cop Block, and they have that video published and it's published to the Faceboos. Well, now Facebook, billion-dollar fucking Facebook, can be sued by that funny style ass cop. You see where this is going? So now it's like, Faceboos, it's in their interest to say, ooh, whoops, Cop Block violated terms of service somehow. I don't know, find a post where they said the word fuck. Oh, look, fuck is in that post. Bad word. Nasty language. Bye, Cop Block. All right, people think that's some freedom of speech Alex Jones shit. No, it's always about the money. The capitalist cares about the capital. All right, they want that money moving in. All right. Looking forward. So now SESTA FOSTA holds those platforms responsible. Moving forward with the article on Salon.com, put up by Nicole Carlis. What is that? Make that go away from the video feed. We don't need that. All right. So now, now instead of working the digital streets where clients can be vetted long before their first interaction, Sasha, the person the story is about, has had no choice but to look for work on the real streets. Quote, and I don't like working on the street. It is very uncomfortable for me to work out there, she explains. I tried to go back out, but it's really scary, and because the sites aren't up anymore, we can't screen our clients. I have to do an in-person screen, and that is a little scary because you never know who you are going to get. End quote. All right. Now, there's another individual, Maxine Dugan, is a sex worker and a sex workers' rights advocate. And this individual told Salon since SESTA FOSTA, she has received so many graphic, mean, and threatening texts demanding unprotected services from potential clients as well. Because that's the thing. Clients of sex workers know about SESTA FOSTA. That's the thing. Like, because, I mean, surprise, surprise, I'm in contact with some sex workers and they tell me that shit. They're like, their clients know. So they're like, oh, you realize that now I can fucking do this to you. And what the fuck you gonna do? Not make money? Can you dig it? Like, that's the reality. Let's go ahead and bring this down. That's coming in a little hot, right? Right. Okay. Continuing forward. Soliciting on the streets of San Francisco poses its own set of challenges. There is no guarantee one will find work, as the competition is tough. Sex workers who have already been soliciting on the streets for a while have an advantage. Sexual violence and assault are real possibilities. That should have been possibility/probability on salon.com article put up by Nicole Carlos. That should have been possibility/probability. There is also the risk of being arrested, and those who already have a history of incarceration, or for those who lack the money to fight charges, that risk cannot be taken. You see, now they're also leaving out rapist cops. But, you know, that's why I don't really fuck with salon.com. Because Salon, it's a glad handy little Democrat website. All right? Continuing forward. Quote from Sasha. The thought of getting arrested, that is my biggest fear. I have worked really hard to get where I am at. I was on my way to get myself out of a low income status, but now I'm right back at it. And this article's also leaving out, like, because they're telling one person's story, right? But, like, shortly after SESTA FOSTA passed, like, dead sex workers turning up. One that really stood out because it was extra graphic was in New York, where a black sex worker was literally cut into pieces, just chopped up, hacked up, thrown in the bushes. Because, hey, can't screen clients online anymore. Like, literally, remember, when these websites and shit started going up and sex workers started going online, that was when, like, the Gary Ridgway shit ended. 1998. And now look, that shit's coming back. Watch. You're gonna see serial killers of sex workers back. And I mean, see, like that Green River Killer type shit, where it's just a long line of them. That shit's coming the fuck back. That Ted Bundy type shit, that's coming the fuck back. All right. Quote. Continued quote from Sasha. Living in poverty is not fun, and sex work was the only way for me to get out of poverty. My biggest goal is to go to school. I want to break the glass ceiling, end quote. Continuing with the article. SESTA FOSTA was initially hailed as a victory by supporters due to its bipartisan promise that it would combat sex trafficking. Supporters included leading Democrats like California Senator Kamala Harris. All right? So you little Democrats out there that may be checking out this podcast, you understand, right, that in 2020, Kamala Harris does not have the anti-prison vote because Kamala Harris is pro-prison slavery. Kamala Harris does not have the pro-sex worker vote because Kamala Harris is anti-sex worker. Kamala Harris does not get the progressive vote. You run Kamala in 2020, you lose. Tell your Democrat friends, if they want 4 more years of Trumpelstiltskin, then go with Kamala. You want to beat Trumpelstiltskin, you go with a fucking progressive. All right? The next time, all right? And this, go back to Chez Pazienza in 2015, 2016. Chez Pazienza on the Bob Cesca show. He was on that shit. He said, the people saying that they're Bernie or bust were like holding a gun to your head. Okay, fair. Let's make that analogy. So what do you do when someone's holding a gun to your head? You fucking comply and give them your goddamn wallet. But you didn't fucking comply. And the people that said Bernie or bust, they weren't fucking with you. And this is something that's ignored a lot, you know, and I get it. This is not legitimate social science, but these people do exist. And of course, the identity politics crowd erases them. a mostly black woman Facebook group, progressive black feminist black woman Facebook group, majority. Roughly about like 9,000 to 10,000 people. So of course, relatively about 5,000 to 7,000 active in the group. And when they talked about the politics, just about everybody said they were Bernie or bust in that group. I get that's not legitimate social science. But those people exist, and they said they were Bernie or bust. And a lot of them put that shit on their own personal Facebook pages. I'm Bernie or bust, right? A lot of people said that shit. And here you go, Democrats were like, no you're not. No you're not. Watch, you'll turn over, just like the who was it? The like No Solidarity or some shit like that. The white women that said they weren't gonna vote for Barack Obama if he won the primary in 2008. They were Clinton only, and they flipped. But that's because they're white women, they're Democrats, they're privileged white women, and any Democrat will do. These non-privileged black women, no Democrat would just do. They wanted Sanders. So again, the next time you get that gun to your head in the primary, you fucking comply. And in the primary, you take your ass up to the poll and you vote for the progressive so that the progressive goes on to the general, or you will fucking lose. Alright? Continuing on with the article. It's fun, right? Consenting adult sex workers seem to have become unintended victims in all of this. Unintended victims, okay. But you can find white feminists online calling sex workers gender traitors and saying they should die. But alright, unintended victims. And Sasha says that now she is seeing more women in the industry being pushed to living on the streets and living out of their cars, a mix between a high cost of living in San Francisco and no work is a recipe for poverty. An individual who was a spokesperson, they actually put spokesperson here, Rachel West, is a spokesperson for the U.S. Prostitutes Collective, a San Francisco-based organization campaigning to decriminalize sex work. They told the outlet Salon.com that there is often a strong connection between poverty and sex work in San Francisco. This is a quote from Rachel West. We see a direct connection between poverty and mothers in the face of very limited safety a limited safety net, especially women trying to make a living and survive. With SESTA FOSTA, it really has had an impact on women's ability to make money. All right? And I'll go ahead and link this in the web post for this morning wine cellar for November 5th, 2018. And with this, we end my week vacation from the factory. So, in a few minutes, I'll upload this and go clock in and get back to the mandatory 6-day work week. That's right. They don't tell you that when you get hired. But after you work there, they just sort of start putting you on the 6 days. And then one day you go in the office and you're like, hey, what happened to the 5-day work week? They're like, oh, 6 days is mandatory. They don't tell you that shit. So if I don't get this promotion I recently applied for, I'll probably be looking into other factories after the snow melts. Like, let winter pass, let's get through the snow season, and then when we go into spring season, I'll probably be looking into another factory if I don't get this promotion I applied for. Alright, and that'll be that. PayPal.me/PhoenixandWilliam, Patreon.com/WineCellarMediaFund. Please be as safe as possible wherever you are.